Now we taking over the game. Taking over. Yeah, we taking over the game. Take over. Now we taking over the game. And you know we won't stop, cause we don't feel pain. Now we taking over the game. Taking over. Yeah, we taking over the game. Take over. Cause now we taking over the game. Yeah, we never stop. We don't feel pain.
Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football with Brian Kelly. I'm Jack Nolan, joined as always by the head coach of the Fighting Irish. And Brian, we have a lot to break down from your big 42-26 win over Florida State. But in the case of this victory, the most important execution by your team and staff may have occurred off the field in relation to how they handled the 3-week process of coming back from a bout with the coronavirus.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Couldn't have got there without great support from Rob Hunt, our head athletic trainer, Dr. Matt Leisler, who heads up our testing, and our incredible support staff. And it requires an effort from everybody here in our football building. And then finally about players. Our players have to be committed to this process to get there. We had 36 players out at one time during this journey to get them back and prepared. You know, you sit in quarantine or isolation for 10 to 14 days. You're not doing anything related to football. You've got to come back from that. And so I'm very, very proud of all those that were part of this process.
It's time now for our game breakdown, brought to you by Cannon. Kyron Williams fumbles on your first possession and it leads to a Florida State field goal, but you stick with Kyron, and on your very next offensive play takes the ball 65 yards to set up your first score. You know,
you let that play go, and Kyron did. He put it behind him, and he comes right back with a well-executed play that gets us a huge play and puts us right back in a position to score. And I thought that was a huge turnaround for us from an offensive perspective.
2 plays after that run, Ian Book finds Michael Mayer for an 8-yard touchdown, making Mayer the first freshman tight end to score a touchdown for Notre Dame since Kyle Rudolph in 2008.
To have him in the same company as Kyle Rudolph, I would say he probably really enjoys that, because he knows a lot about Kyle Rudolph. They're both from the greater Cincinnati area. You know, as you can see, he's a very talented tight end, and we're going to continue to feature him in our offense.
Now, you were a little concerned that there might be some rough edges after the 3-week layoff, and there were. A fumbled punt and a drop pass helped Florida State rally and take the lead, but you retake the lead with an 8-play, 75-yard drive, with the key play being a 36-yard reception by Javon McKinley.
Yeah, there was some rust, there's no doubt, and we kind of thought that there would be, but the responses that we had offensively really stemmed the tide. And even though there were some miscues that kept Florida State alive, we were able to respond offensively, and Javon McKinley was outstanding. He had a nice day going up against an outstanding corner, and Asante Samuel, who's going to be an NFL player. I thought Javon asserted himself extremely well and made the big plays when we needed him.
Now, Tyree recorded his first career 100-yard game with 104 yards on 11 carries. Williams finished with a career-high 185 yards on 19 carries, and that means we have to talk more about an offensive line that made it possible for your team to rush. Liam Eichenberg coming back into the game with a swollen left eye, almost swollen shut, and how well Aaron Banks played when Eichenberg was out, when you shifted him out to left tackle.
You know, when you kick Banks out to left tackle, Dylan Gibbons comes in at left guard, and we go on a 2-minute drive and we score with that unit in there. A big part of, you know, obviously the success we had is those next man in, right? The guy that needs to step up and play. And so, you know, having that kind of selfless, committed group allows you to do things when guys go down. And that's why this is a special group of guys, and we should really take advantage of watching them this year, because it's certainly a fun group.
Ian Book had an outstanding game, 201 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, 58 rushing yards, another touchdown. But I think his best moments were the way he ran that final scoring drive of the first half. 57 yards on 8 plays in just 57 seconds, and Book ran for 30 of those yards.
Yeah, he was really good. Clearly his best game this year. You could argue that this is one of the better games that he's played in quite some time. I thought his management of the game, in terms of clock management, in terms of the signaling in and out of the game with 3 weeks off, no false start penalties, a clean communication at all times, formationally, outstanding job there. And then I thought he was accurate. I thought his reads were outstanding. I thought he pushed the ball downfield very, very well. I just think overall, one of Ian's really fine games of his career.
Now, neither team would score again, but Florida State did threaten one more time, a drive that ended on 3rd and goal from the 5 when Sean Crawford came up with a big goal line interception to all but wrap up the victory.
Yeah, really smart play on Sean's part. We got into our bracket coverage down there, and he just was patient, stepped underneath the sprint out pass. Again, as you mentioned, ended any hopes that they had with a very, very good way to finish off the defensive performance for the night.
Coach, our first Irish Intel play this week is Kyron Williams' big 65-yard run on your first scoring drive.
Yeah, this is one of our staple plays. It's an inside zone, but it's with the tight end coming back to kick out the backside end. And what it does is, as you see the tight end come across, it freezes the backside linebacker, because now you have the line going to the right and you've got the tight end going left. So it pauses those linebackers and gives our offensive line a chance to get up on that second level. And you can see it opens up and separates the defense very nicely right down the hash.
On the Florida State possession following your first score, Ade Ogundeji comes up with the first of his 2 sacks of the game to help force a 3-and-out for Florida State.
This is a great illustration. If you watch Ade, he comes off the edge, and most people think that great pass rushers are just going to beat these tackles with speed. You're also going to counter when you see the depth of the quarterback. The quarterback was shallow in his drop. Ade sensed the shallow drop and countered back underneath the tackle here to the depth of the quarterback. And this is just a veteran move where he counters back off the speed rush and is in there to make the sack. Again, a veteran move by a guy that's played a lot of football for us and certainly a big play for us.
Coach, in the second quarter, Ian Book finds Michael Mayer for a 17-yard gain to the Florida State 5-yard line to set up your go-ahead score.
Yeah, we get into a formation look that gets Mike Mayer matched up one-on-one. You can see we empty the backfield out. He gets the one-on-one, and right here, he works an out-cut move to freeze the linebacker. We call it a shake route, and he shakes him out and then back up underneath, which gets him wide open inside, and Ian delivers a strike before the backside safety can get there. Again, I think in this instance right here, this is where we really liked Ian's decisiveness in terms of waiting for him to get open. He's got a quick window. It's going to close. But that decisiveness is what we really liked on Saturday night, of fitting it in. It might look like a tight window, but it was a really good throw because he was decisive and he knew what he was looking for.
Coach, the heartwarming Sean Crawford story continued this week. You asked him to play corner in this game, and he comes up with the big interception that seals the victory.
It's interesting because the quarterback had been running on us down here, and this is a big play, 4th down. We actually went man-to-man, and that's hard in this bunch. Watch Sean fight through the bunch here, undercuts the route, and makes a huge play for us to end any kind of thoughts that Florida State may have to come back. But it starts with pressing the point. If you run it back a little bit here, you'll see we start with pressure right on the top guy in the point. And with that press coverage there, it allows everybody to run through to their man so we don't get anybody picked off. Crawford's able to come through clean, undercut the route on the sprint out, and end effectively the football game.
It's time now for Instant Reaction, sponsored by SiriusXM. One of the biggest reasons Notre Dame put 42 points on the board against Florida State was the leadership and performance of quarterback Ian Book. Book completed 16 of 25 passes for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions, while also running the ball 9 times for 58 yards and a score. Just as impressive, the Irish played a clean offensive game under Book's direction with just 1 offensive penalty. Book met with the media after the game.
Just wanted to know how you think the offense played today, and then what did you think of Liam Eichenberger's eye and how he was blocking for you out there despite being out there with basically 1 op?
Yeah, first off, I thought we played a great game on offense. After every game, there's going to be stuff to go back and watch on film and get better at, that's for sure. There's never a perfect game, but the energy was good. We were happy with, obviously, running the ball was unbelievable. And just thought it was a clean game for us on offense, after an early mistake, and we were able to fix that.
Yeah, Ian, I was just wanting to talk about targeting McKinley so much with Sante Samuel guarding him. What was your confidence level in making that connection so often tonight?
Javon has just done an unbelievable job, not just this last week, but he just works really hard, and it was his time to shine. That was a matchup we all wanted to see. I know he could come out on top. Their DBs were great players, but, I believe in Javon to go make the big play when you have that opportunity. So he's an unbelievable player for us, and he's someone on the perimeter I want to get the ball to.
Ian, in the time you've spent with this offensive line and these guys, where does this rank among the times when you just kind of sit back there and notice, like, man, they're really opening up some holes for our running backs and just giving you time?
Pretty much every day. I'm truly blessed. I really feel like we have the best O-line in the country. I've been with all these guys for a long time, and they just lay it all on the line, to protect me, to protect the running backs. And they're just fun to be out there with. That's what I notice the most. I have so much fun out there. I trust all of them. And I honestly just blessed I have that O-line. I really feel like we have the best O-line in the country. And day in and day out at practice, they show that. And that's what also boosts my confidence. I know they can get it done on Saturday.
Ian, how much more room for growth do you feel like there is in this passing game, and what's it going to take to get to that point?
There's always room for growth. It just depends on the game plan. When you're able to run like we were tonight, why would you want to stop something that's working like that? And that just helps open up the pass. Strictly in the passing game, I think it's going fine, and we can grow in the running game and in the passing game. Nothing specific, and we're doing what we got to do to win. It's about winning football games. That's hard to do. So I'm just happy to be out there, happy to be playing.
Folks, each week we collect all the game day video produced by our crack Fighting Irish media staff and combine it into a behind-the-scenes look at that week's Irish game. It's a feature we call Icon. Here is the Florida State edition.
Persistence, consistency. Every single play, we keep after our opponent. That is the demand of excellence. It's that team, that individual, that unit that continuously comes after you every single play. No let up. 4 quarters. Let's start fast.
Irish have the sights set on big things, and for the first time in 3 weeks, here come the Irish.
Let's go there, have fun. Let's go, oh!
Giving to Williams, through the middle, and into the secondary, and on the run. And that's a way to get some redemption.
Throws underneath, complete at the 5, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Michael Mayer, the freshman with his first TD for Notre Dame.
We just getting started, baby. It's going to be a long night.
In trouble, now running to his right, and helicoptered up into the air by Owusu Koromoa.
Hey, let's go score. Right here. See the end zone here.
Williams left. Oh, he's got space. He's got lead blockers. He may take this the distance. Williams gone again. Notre Dame touchdown.
Keep balling, boy.
Untouched. Williams to the end zone. Notre Dame retakes the lead. Touchdown 2 for Kyron Williams tonight.
We had the game in balance. We let it go. We got it now back in control. Let's put it away. Dominate our opponents. Dominated means take care of the football. Do all the little things the right way. It starts with making adjustments. And now knowing what the game plan is. Let's go dominate the second half. Let's go play.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, my goodness. He separated Webb's soul from his body.
Yeah, whoa!
And the shotgun sets up, fires this deep shot down the right side. Complete at the 30-yard line and down to the 25. Javon McKinley.
The Irish are averaging 10 yards a play.
When you have an offensive line like we do, it allows us to be able to expand our game and play our game.
Wow. That's an offensive line.
They're a brotherhood up there, and they're tough.
There's not a group that I've coached that those 5 guys work so well together.
Florida State looking to chip away at the deficit. Throws to the one. Intercepted. Ball picked off. Sean Crawford.
You know, keep rolling, man. You got a long way to go.
It is so difficult to win. To do it in the fashion that we did it, by having to shut down operation and not practice, I couldn't be more proud of a group of guys that just went out and grinded it out and found a way to win today. We didn't have our A game today. But the mark of a great football team is that when you don't have your A game, you still beat your opponent. And we got here because of your commitment and the performance of 2 that I want to give the game balls to. Because we're not standing here today without Rob Hunt and Dr. Matt Leisler.
It's all for you guys. It's all for you.
This week, you have a chance to get back as much as is possible nowadays to your normal game week routine as you prepare for a visit from the Louisville Cardinals. How helpful will that be?
Oh, we're excited about it, actually. You know, to get back to a routine, getting our cleats in the ground, playing much more physical, winning the one-on-one matchups, doing the things that is part of our DNA, part of our culture, continue to grow at the running back position and maintain that standard that we have set on the offensive line.
Louisville comes to town for a Saturday afternoon game at Notre Dame Stadium. The Cardinals are struggling, but we found out last year they are very athletic and they can score.
Yes, this is an athletic team. This is going to look a lot like Florida State's offense, and you know what happened yesterday. They gave us fits, so that's going to be a challenge for us. We're going to have a great week, a great work week in terms of settling down and getting back to our fundamentals, and then from an offensive standpoint, continue to be who we are. Run the ball, take our shots down the field. And stay away from the turnovers. We can't afford to turn the football over. We got to take care of the football. If we do that, we'll continue to work in the right direction.
Ryan, thank you. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
That will do it for this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football. Coach and I will return next week to break down all the highlights of the Louisville game. Until then, for Coach Kelly, I'm Jack Nolan. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Irish.